Hi guys, Rob here, as always. Today I've got my first rant video, and I'd like to talk about the harem genre. Harems seem to be everywhere nowadays. Mind you, that harem anime have always been around, and they have been for a while. But for the past, 5 years or so, I'd say, harem anime have become quite popular. Anime like Haganai, Sekirei, The Familiar Zero, Heaven's Lost Property, To Love Ru, Infinite Stratus, High School DxD, the list, it just goes on and on. Why are there so many? Well, it really has to do with the state of the anime industry itself. It's not in the greatest of shape nowadays. So production companies go with what they know is going to sell. And ecchi harem anime is what sells. I'd like to say first that, yes, most harem anime really aren't very good. They're not. I'm looking at you, school days. But as most are romantic comedies, they can still be entertaining and even enjoyable. But some people take harems a bit too seriously. They get angry, call them trash, and say it's a cancer that's ruining the anime industry. I would argue that last bit there, but to an extent I would agree, and I can definitely see where they're coming from. But harems aren't really meant to be taken seriously. Am I defending harems? Not really. Every genre has its pros and cons. I'd just like everyone to take them at face value. They're the kind of show where you just turn off your brain and have fun watching the antics of the characters while admiring how pretty the stupid high production value is that they all somehow seem to have. But I do have one problem with harems. They're predictable. And by predictable, no, I do not mean the character archetypes, like the childhood friend, the tsundere, or the perverted best friend. I'm also not talking about stuff like someone having a wardrobe malfunction, peeping in on the women's bath, the main character occasionally copping a feel, or whatever other ecchi shenanigans the characters manage to get themselves into. Because honestly, none of that really bugs me. First, let's ignore whether it's morally right or not to have a harem in the first place. In a harem, the girls want the guy's attention. The guy has to make choices of who he wants to spend time with. That choice can be affected by the girls. It doesn't have to be anything grand or special. Just as long as that person makes an effort to get closer to them, shouldn't that affect who gets picked? Maybe it's just the romantic in me, but it bugs me that regardless of what someone does to try to win the affection of the person that they like, in the end, the one that showed up first always gets picked. Dunno what I mean? Alright, here is an example. In To Love Ru, although I haven't read it, I know for a fact that pretty much everyone's favorite character is Yami. One of my friends who has read it even thinks that she could have her own series. But if she's that likable, Rito obviously has to think that way too, right? Nope. Because Rito is gonna pick Lala. Why? Because she was the first one that liked him. In Rosario Vampire, while there's nothing really wrong with Mocha, that's kind of the problem. There's nothing wrong with Mocha. She's perfect. She doesn't have any flaws. She doesn't have any quirks. She doesn't really have anything likable about her. If you liked Mizore, I did. Or if you liked Kurumu, too bad, because Sukune is gonna pick Mocha. Why? Because she was there first. In Infinite Stratus, though I liked the show, there was a point where I thought it was getting dull. That is until Laura and Charlotte, both of which I find genuinely likable characters, showed up and livened up the show. The two of them are also the only girls from the series that stood out and have actual personalities. Is Ichika gonna pick either one of them? Oh, wouldn't you know it? Nope! He's gonna pick boring old Hoki. Why? Because she was there first. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Now, obviously I know that the author, the creator, or whoever already knows who's going to get picked. But don't you think that maybe we shouldn't? Shouldn't there be some kind of suspense or wonder as to who's going to get picked, and not just whoever shows up first? Don't you think that kind of defeats the point of having more than one love interest? I have come across 3 anime where that wasn't the case. The first being Shuffle, where it actually keeps you guessing who Rin wants to be with until around episode 18 or so. As icing on the cake, he also picks my favorite character from Shuffle. Maybe that's why I like it so much. The second being Amagami SS. Amagami is based off of a visual novel, where, unlike in a manga series, where the author decides who the main character will end up with, depending on the choices that you make, you could end up with any one of them. If that's the case, then making an anime is going to be a little bit tricky, because the main character can only end up with one of them, and since he can only end up with one of them, not everyone is going to be happy. So for the anime, they gave each of the 6 girls their own part in the show. The first girl gets 4 episodes, and then it resets and starts the next girl's story. Everyone gets their fair share of screen time. That's actually a really smart idea. On a related note, though it's not really a harem, in Clannad, another visual novel adaptation, while Tomoya and Nagisa is canon, they made 2 specials where Tomoya and Nagisa never met each other. One where Tomoya gets together with Kyo, and the other where he gets together with Tomoyo. They did this because of how popular both routes were in the visual novel. And, seeing as Tomoyo is probably my favorite character from Clannad, I think that's pretty cool. The last series being The World God Only Knows, where Keima must hunt down loose souls that hide in the hearts of young girls, and the only way to get them out is to fill that girl's heart full of love. Thankfully for Keima, after the loose soul is captured, the girl loses her memories of Keima while the loose soul was in her heart. That's a good thing, because Keima would have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's right, a lot of girls a little bit mad at it. Well, I think I've ranted on long enough. I've told you what I think. Now I want you guys to tell me what you think. Whether you agree with me, whether you think I'm full of shit, leave a comment. And if you liked my rant, feel free to head on over to my channel and watch some of my other videos. I'm Rob the Anime Guy. See you next time.